All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, Ba'ashim Rakar Qudash, and double honor to the apostles of the great millstone, and giving salutation to the Akim out there that's forwarding this ministry, exhorting Yahushua in faith, in continuance and in diligence, and most importantly, out of the sincerity of your hearts, and Shalom to those that are heeding to this ministry as well, especially to the brothers that can't, further this ministry and support what we do, and as well as even the sisters as well. All right. So it's the brother Laban back at you with another video. Excuse me. And in this video, what I want to get into is the breakdown for Joel 3 verse 1. And the reason why I want to go into this because the last video that I did, I was breaking it down, but I want to get more in depth in proving that this does not mean exactly how you see it or how it is read. So let's just get started. Joel 3 verse 1. For behold, in those days and in that time when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. So just by reading it verbatim, you would think that this is referring to the Most High bringing our people back into captivity again. All right. And as you read all the way down, and I mean, when you go back into the history of Israel, Israel was in different captivities among these nations. But what Joel is referencing is the future of these nations, getting together towards this current nuclear war, as he's explaining in his vision. So, we know and understand after these nations are done for, the Heavenly Father is going to set up a kingdom which will be forever and ever, which will be governed by the saints. As it is written in the book of Daniel 7, that the saints shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever and ever. So, in this case, just by using, your spiritual senses, when Joel spoke about, for behold in the days, let's read it. For behold in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. I mean, that can't just be, literal. Because after that, as I've said, Joel speaks about what these nations are going to experience in modern times concerning this war. All right. And like I said, after this war is done and the dust is settled and these nations have destroyed themselves, we're going to rule the earth forever and ever. So let's look up this word. We're going to get started, and we're going to look up this word, captivity, in the Hebrew. So the word is shabawaf. The Hebrew word is shabawaf, and they have two biblical usages: captivity, captives. But if you go into the Strongs now, the Strongs give it away. So this says, as they have it, they have shabuth, which that's totally off right there because there's no vowels in the Hebrew. And then they have shabayif, but it's really shabawaf. So they have here from H7617, which this is the root word here, which is referencing to being led actually into captivity. This word shabbath, right? Shabbah, which means to be led away, taken into captivity. So now let's go back to the word that we're going to originally look into, which is H7622, and this says also exile, concretely prisoners. This is the point. Figuratively, a former state of prosperity. All right. And that would be the correct definition. A former state of prosperity. And when you look up this word, shabawaf, H7622, it connects with Zephaniah 3. This word is in Zephaniah 3 verse 20, which Zephaniah 3 verse 20 is the correct precept to Joel 3 verse 1. So now let's read Zephaniah 3 verse 20, right? So before we go there, what I also want to say is this, is that Joel 3:1, let's read this again. For behold, in those days, I want to break it down one more time to make another point. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. So this would mean, when you understand it now, is that the Lord is going to bring back away the captivity. And as well as I've just showed you the figurative meaning as well, which means that we be brought to a former state of prosperity, which is what's going to happen with our people. And Zephaniah 3:20 explains that also. All right, so now let's read Zephaniah 3 verse 20 now, which is the right precept to Joel 3:1. So it reads, actually, a matter of fact, let's begin. Let's read Zephaniah 3 verse 19. Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee, and I will save her that is halteth, and gather her that was driven out. And I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. This is the nation of Israel, as Zephaniah is referencing to, that was scattered out of the land, and as well as was driven out. And where yet this day have been driven out of our land and scattered among every nation under the sun. Okay. Verse 20. And at that time, this is the point. This is the precept to Joel 3:1. And at that time will I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you. For I will make you a name and a praise among all of the people of the earth, when I turn back your captivity before your eyes, save the Lord. So that's what Joel 3:1 is basically saying right there. So as it reads, as we're going to read this one final time, and then I'm going to end this video, because I just want to make this real brief to show you brothers out there that are new to this truth, because you know the older brothers that have been in this thing for a while, they already know this already. But I just want to show you brothers that are coming in, so that when you read Joel 3:1, and you may come across this precept and you may not really understand what it's saying. So anyway, let's read this again. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. So now you know that the breakdown for this is that Yahweh, through his son Yahweh Shah, is going to bring back or take back away our captivity. All right, because when you look up this word captivity again, and I just want to make this point that I've already made, but I want to make it again, where it says, when we go to the Strong's definition, they have the word as they have it, right? But as we get to the point, it says figuratively a former state of prosperity. So it's either and or. It's either Israel is in captivity, exiled, and if they're released from captivity, what would that lead to? Them being prosperous, which is actually prophecy. It's all throughout the prophecies in the Bible that when we're released from captivity, we're going to enter into a state of prosperity. All right. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say with this video here. Hopefully you understood where I was coming from, and it was plainly broken down the correct way towards you. All right, so that you understand. So that's all I want to read from there and say as well. So with that, I say shalom.